Here we go.
You're laughing, and I'm going to start. It's the beginning of the show. Hi, everybody. It's Reclaiming America. I'm Bill.
I'm Dan. He does this to me every single time.
And we get started every single time because he knows what a great show this is going to be. And, of course, Henry's perched right now to jump on anybody who gives us any kind of grief.
The king.
King Henry.
He'll have his little crown there in a moment.
Yeah, we'll take care of it. I'm sure you will. And I'm
Careful,
sure
I
he
can
will
put
have
things
one.
on you, too.
I'm sure of that, too.
So.
But whatever. Anyway, good to see you, sir. We've had another busy week.
We're going to be here for 12 hours if we cover everything.
And by the time we get done, there'll be another 12 hours with stuff we could cover
on. Where to start? Let's start with, how about Mr. Biden's announcement that he's running?
Not far enough.
What'd you think of that?
I think it probably took about 6 hours and 15 people to get a 2-minute video together. It did.
Probably.
And they did a good job of splicing because I don't think you can put 2 minutes worth of information together without having something screwed up.
Did you hear his campaign slogan?
Sorry. That's
it right there. That's our campaign slogan. His campaign slogan is "Finish the job." I think that is the best campaign slogan for him or anyone that's apropos, because if he gets 4 more years, we're finished.
Right, and there won't be a job left to go to.
The country will be done.
Yep.
So
Stick a fork in it, it'll be over.
Let's give him credit for being honest. He's looking to finish the job, and he's going to if he gets reelected.
And you know what's amazing? If you listen to polls, which I hate to begin with.
Oh, I want to talk about the polls a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yesterday, it was 2/3 of the people don't want him to run. Today, 62% of Democrats will support him running.
Funny how that suddenly flipped.
I just don't understand how that happens.
Polls are the most useless things in the world. They're whatever they decide they want as the answer that becomes.
Yeah, first of all, it's how you form the question. And secondly, it's who you ask and when you ask them.
Correct.
So between all that, nothing comes out valid. The only time it becomes valid, if you pay attention to polls in election, the closer you get to election day, everything narrows down, not because it's suddenly closing, it's because they're finally starting to tell you the truth.
A little bit, yeah.
So the closer to election day, they will bring it down and try to get it to some sort of semblance of normal.
What's interesting about some of the polls that I saw, this was before he announced, so Monday I believe it was, they had proposed candidates for both sides. So Biden versus Trump, Biden was up by 3, I believe, which is negligible, right?
It's probably within
the margin of error, definitely within it. Then DeSantis, Biden. DeSantis was up by 3. Now, if they're saying he's up by 3, he's up by 30. That's my viewpoint.
You probably can't count more than one hand anyway, so it's probably the truth.
And then it was Biden versus any other Republican candidate was 6 for the Republican candidate. So that's an interesting take. Now, again, it's BS. We know that it is. But I do believe that kind of mirrors how things would run. I think DeSantis running would be a slam dunk win. Who else is running on the Republican side? Haley.
You got the
other guy, the long name.
And you also,
I can't say.
There's another guy that just came out.
Yeah.
Ridley or something.
Yeah. So any of those, in theory, they got a better shot. But as we've talked about on the show before, I have no problem whatsoever with Trump's policies. I'm a big fan of the policies, but he is so. What's the word I want to use that won't get us banned and in trouble? Polarizing.
There's a nice.
That's a fair little thing.
I was coming forward with the term like toxic at some time.
Well, I was leaning that way too. So.
And I voted for Trump. I like Trump, but I think he did a great job. But at this
as
particular
president,
point,
I think he was outstanding.
At this particular point, I'm not sure he can pull it off.
I think he loses the election.
I'm just not sure.
And it's not because of his policies. There's just so much hatred for him.
Though I have to, the Democratic playbook's at play again. If you just saw now, there's the rape case from 3 decades ago.
Oh, I know.
Does that sound like deja vu all over again? I mean, give me a break.
And you'll see the same thing happen with DeSantis. They'll find stuff to hit him with. And let's say it's neither one of them. We'll use Haley because it's the only one I can remember. They'll find stuff on her.
Well, I got to tell you, to be fair, but Nikki Haley, she turned me off today with what she pulled. Okay. Now,
I did not hear what she did today.
You all know
I
that
like her.
last week I think we talked about the fact that there was a Democrat in Charlotte who was trying to get a bill passed to invite
Oh,
Walt
yeah,
Disney
yeah.
to relocate here.
Yes.
Well, she came out on video yesterday suggesting to get away from DeSantis and crew, they could all move to South Carolina where they'd be welcome. Sorry, you took it away then, you just blew it.
Well, that's posturing to try and get the nomination, though. Do you think she actually means it?
I think if she could pull it off, she'd do it because it'd be a feather in a cap.
I think she's just blowing wind.
Her gas issues are not my problem.
I actually think she's going to be the VP candidate for either DeSantis or Trump.
I don't think so.
Who else would? Tim Scott's.
No, but I
Great
think
one.
Noam will be a.
You think Noam's going to do it?
I think she might make
She'd
it.
give. Ooh.
I think she's
That's
smart
an-
enough to lay back and not jump in too early.
Well, that's my point on her. Would be she's smart enough to lay back, let this election cycle go through, and then
You
28.
deal with it next year. No,
I'm thinking 28.
I think she gets, if nothing else,
Interesting.
she throws her name in the hat and she gets recognized. You know, you need the name
Okay.
reliability.
Okay.
You know, people need to recognize your name. So if nothing else, she waits till some of this settles a bit, throws her name in, shoots for VP, and if she doesn't get
Fair
it,
point.
she's got name recognition because she's been all over
Right.
the place. She'd be a tier 2 most likely initially, and then we'll see what happens for her up the line.
She'd
But
make-
she's earned the right to do
She'd
it.
make one hell of a VP or president.
She's an executive. She's a great governor. She's done the right thing up and down the line.
She did
and
everything right.
And she has, to her credit, she's not afraid to stand up and tell people where to go and how to get there.
Wearing a hat while she does it.
Yep.
Cowboy hat. Yeah, I would be fine. I actually like her. I like Tim Scott as a possible VP candidate.
I'm a little negative on
little on
Scott.
him.
I'm not.
I like him. I'll throw a name out there, although it won't happen.
I know where you're going for.
Where do you think I'm going to go?
It's going to ride with Tulsi Gabbard.
No, but
You're
there's
not
another one. No, I was going to use
Really?
Mr. Robinson. But
No, our governor.
I like how you said that.
Our governor.
Our governor.
You know, that would be interesting. Except he's going to run for.
Except he's running, but he would be a hell of a candidate.
Now
for
he'd be a
VP.
great 2028.
Yeah, and that's where I think it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But we got to see who the top candidate is first. The last I saw, again, polls are BS. Trump was up basically by 30 points over DeSantis.
Now the one they announced today, 53% of the people said they'd vote for him on the Republican side.
Trump.
Trump.
Yeah, that's what I saw too, and it was 20
Again, but you
something.
don't.
Those are,
You could ask that in Charlotte to get that kind of an answer.
and that's what they do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You
But
know, it's,
I don't trust that answer at all.
They look for specific areas. They know what the answers are going to be.
And how you word the
They
question.
phrase the question.
I hate to use it. You want to phrase the question which you just can't win on is, does your mother know you murdered that person? How do you answer that question? Does your mother know you murdered somebody? Yes or no, you're dead.
Yeah.
It's just
Either
how you
way.
phrase the question.
It'll be interesting to
Don't
see.
clam up on me now.
Yeah,
We got a
see,
lot
I
going
was
here.
trying to stop the pan because you were getting Henry going here. The banging was scaring him a little bit. Going back to Biden, it's the age thing is going to come out, and I frankly think both Trump and Biden are too old for it. We do need fresh blood.
You know what's interesting? RFK.
Oh, he's been on a roll.
Oh,
Henry, are you okay?
boy, RFK just kind of really shook him up. I mean, that just took the whole party apart.
You just wow.
I think we found the person we need.
You just really scared
I
him.
just took the hell out
You
of
threw that
RFK.
name out, and he was gone.
He was history.
Poor Henry.
I didn't mean
You
it,
should
Henry.
feel
We're
awful.
still Republicans, Henry. He's a Democrat.
Pete
all right.
is going to come get you now.
That's fine.
So,
But
no, he's behind us.
he's coming around the other. He's
All
the
right.
backside of us now.
But he's okay. Where were we talking about?
We're talking about RFK.
Oh,
and
RFK. Yeah.
He is suddenly, he's getting credible. And if you look at what he's talking about, he doesn't sound a whole lot different from his relative called JFK.
Very similar. I thought same thing.
And his policies are very similar. And we all know that JFK would be a Republican if he was alive today. But
He would.
the question is it campaign fodder or is it true?
They're going to slam him down just like they did Tulsi, right?
I don't know if he's going to be that easy to slam down.
I don't know. I think the fix is in. I think anybody else that's in. I don't know who else is announced on that side. I think
Well, the
there's one
good
or
news
two.
is Bernie Sanders said no.
Oh God.
And thank God for that, everyone.
Well, Bernie needs to. He's got his millions now. He needs to pay his fair share.
No, he needs to pay our fair share.
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting for him because if you ever noticed with Bernie, it was we have to get the billionaire or the millionaires, and then he became a millionaire.
And
Then it
suddenly
was
it's
it's the
quiet.
billionaires.
Yeah, we got to move up the line,
Yeah, it's
and then we'll get
amazing.
to the trillionaires.
What a total fraud he is. But I think it's a slam dunk. Biden's going to be the nominee on that side.
I'm not sure about that. I really am
Well,
not.
assuming he's alive, I hate to say it that way.
Let
but
me put it in a different way. They've also announced that they're going to rehab Camilla. Now, I don't know how you rehab her except taking her into a body shop and start there and just start, keep the tires and everything else has got to go. I mean, she's not, no offense, but she's not the brightest bulb in the marquee.
you get some phrases going. Oh, there's Hillary too.
Oh, yeah, there's another dark horse out there. And literally,
There is one I think could jump in and would absolutely become the nominee. Mrs. Obama.
oh, yeah, Michelle could pull that off. She's
I
got the
think
backing.
if she says I'm running, it's over. She's running. I mean, that'll be the nominee.
And that would be a formidable one to go up against.
She'd be tough to beat, to be honest.
I mean,
Good, bad, or indifferent about what you think about her. You have to be fair and say she's got name recognition. She's got everything you need to become president.
yep.
As far as the dog and pony show side of it. I don't know if her
She checks all the
qualifications are
boxes
there.
you
Yeah.
need to get in there.
But
Oh, God, that would be an interesting. I didn't thought about that one.
I did. I was actually thinking about the other day. I'm like, because she's been awful quiet.
And
was
there has some talk. There was some talk about
About
6
a
months
year,
ago about
6
her.
months,
Yeah.
a year ago, there was
They were talking
bubbling
about
up,
her that
and
she was going to
then,
run and thinking about it.
I think if Biden starts showing any signs that he's not going to win it, because they actually believe he's going to win it.
If he shows any signs of intelligence, he might
Well,
be
yeah,
able to
that's
run
not-
again. I
let's-
mean, that's a
Let's
flat
be
line.
realistic. That's not going to happen.
Well, look at the big play we're having now over the card from yesterday, the press conference. Was it the woman's face? Yes. Was it the question she asked? Well, it wasn't exactly phrased that way. Was it essentially that question? Yes. But that's normal. We do that all the time. If that had been a
Yeah.
Republican,
Oh, that'd be front page of every newspaper.
and they'd be ticking out the cross and they'd be getting the nails out and
Everything,
he or she'd be gone.
It's well, I mean, you look at Jean Pierre. Is that her name?
Yeah.
The whatever she is.
The press conference
I can't-
person.
As much as I despised Psaki, I give her credit. She at least did the job that she's supposed to do. She lied beautifully. Pierre is like a joke. I mean, if you ever saw a diversity hire in your life, you wanted the poster child for a diversity hire because she's black, lesbian, all that. It's her. She is so unqualified for that position, it isn't funny.
And on a regular basis, she proves it.
Literally every single day, And what's interesting is I saw a part of the news conference from Monday. It was before Biden announced. And it wasn't a Fox reporter asking the question. It was another reporter. And she got all tongue twisted over that and pissed at the reporter. And I'm not going to answer that. I'm paraphrasing it, but it was nothing horrible question-wise.
But it wasn't written down and it wasn't
But she
prepared
didn't
for her to
have,
answer.
say what you want about Psaki. At least she could, I give her props. She could stand there and
She could run
lie
with the ball and she could handle
She
it.
could lie with a straight face as good as anyone ever.
Yep. But
But this one, oof.
she can't even lie well.
No, she's so beyond stupid. I'm going to say it. Now I just got banned. But and I don't care that because she's black or none of that matters. She's just a person when I say that.
Well, let's rephrase it. If brains were dynamite, she couldn't blow her nose.
But you've got, mush for brains for president. You got mush for brains for press secretary. Don't get me started on the VP.
And now that Susan Rice is leaving the White House, who's running the show?
Well, that will mean who's running the country.
Same difference.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
You know how to sum this up, the best way to sum it up? If you go to circuses, all our lives when we were younger, we'd go to see circuses and we'd enjoy everything going on. And anytime something wrong happened, they would run out all the clowns
Oh yeah.
to distract everybody. You know something? There's nothing but clowns on the stage right now. We're in big trouble.
You brought up a point there. I don't know if you knew you brought it up, but
Thank you for
the
not.
dog and pony show they're running to avoid facing reality. People are starting to figure out the economy is really bad. You know, hey, call out Trump for whatever. You know, first it was New York indicting him. Now Georgia's about to.
Mhm.
That way it becomes part of the news
And
cycle.
then you get the civil suit with the
You got the
rape,
civil
this
suits.
supposed rape from 3 decades
Right.
ago.
It's all to mask what the reality is, which is the country is going down in flames. And hey, he's going to build back better. Well, that didn't work. So now he's going to finish the job, which means the U.S. will no longer exist.
Well, you get this band, in Japan, to finish the job, they'd put out the giant saber and put him behind a fence and let him finish the job.
Yeah.
That'll get me banned again, but that's the way it is.
I just, whoever came up with that, I wonder if they were like really thinking, yeah, he's going to finish it. You know, but I will bet money that will not be his campaign slogan because he's gonna get slammed by it.
Ooh,
I can't be the only one that's thinking of twisting it.
Well, it's not hard.
No, it's not. It's easy, too easy.
And he's already finished.
We're finished. I don't care about him.
Well, I still have hope. We can pull this out and turn it around.
We got roughly two more years
Mm-hmm.
of him.
And we'll know what's happening in December when we see all these people filing.
Yep. What'll be interesting though is can the House do anything with the Hunter Biden thing? You stop him.
Oh, but because really all they can do is, well, they got screwed by the Senate last year. Because
What
now,
else is new?
but they can play some game because starting in October, September, August, they do the budget.
Right.
And there's where the money controls everything.
Right.
Okay. Even if you look at now, speaking of budget, where our fearless leader who's going to finish the job won't negotiate setting the debt limit because we can't possibly cut anything.
Oh, the House, but if you don't know, the House did pass a bill.
Yes, they did, and right on party lines.
And 4 Republicans did not vote for it. I know Gates was one of them. I forget who the other 3 are, but it passed. We all know it's never going to get through the Senate anyway, but
And well,
Biden's
Schumer's already
response
said dead
is,
on response.
I'm not going to negotiate. Okay, what happened to Mr. I'm going to unify the country?
I'll put my hand out and outreach to everybody as long
gonna-
as you agree with me.
Yeah, that all went by the wayside too. Literally everything he's ever said has been a lie as president. Well,
And that probably goes back to his marriage when he really meant I don't.
it goes back to was it 88 he ran and plagiarized the speech?
He's plagiarized everything he's ever done.
But it'll be, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Hunter Biden laptop. It's there. Can the House, just by holding hearings, because that's really all they can do,
Right.
but it might be enough.
If they can get it publicized, then we can get it out.
I mean,
but that translates to you need enough media to make it happen because
Well,
the
yeah,
rest of them
yeah.
won't cover it.
That's where people like us come in.
Yeah, social media. You're going to have
Social
to come
media
on the non-traditional media
Yeah.
because you're not going to get it from the mainstream.
No,
And that includes Fox, unfortunately.
we're going to go there in the next segment.
Okay.
A little chat about Fox,
Fox and the Henhouse routine?
if you want to call it that.
Okay.
We want to wrap this one up, take a short break, and come back and.
Or a toll break or something like that. But
right,
anyway,
whatever.
we'll be right back in a few minutes, and Bill and Dan will tell you the rest of the world as we solve it.
Henry, if we can find him again.
Henry's still working over RFK being he'll get over it soon. Back again. This is
That'll
Bill
be a
and
nice
this is
cut in.
Dan. Back to Reclaiming America. And we're back doing another segment, and we're going to discuss a couple of interesting things going on. You may have heard something going on about a host being relieved at the last minute.
Oh, Don Lemon.
That must be the one. Everyone was just lining up
Lemon.
for old
What the hell's his
lemonade.
last name anyway?
You know, when you got lemon, you turned it into lemonade.
Not him.
Well,
He turned it into even more sourpuss.
I have a few choices for there, but I'm going to try to keep us on the air,
Okay.
so I won't go there.
So who's the other person that you're talking about?
Tucker,
Tucker or somebody? Or
Tucker Carlson.
Carlsbad.
He had a
Carlson.
show someplace that he was
Yeah,
on.
he did.
And Friday, he closes his show down where he buys all his people pizza. And his last segment question was, should we put pineapple on pizza? Because he's going home and he'll be back Monday. Monday morning, he walks in,
And
he has a pre-meeting show, and they call him outside and say, "You and your executive producer are unemployed." For him.
yeah, but I'm talking about on the network.
He has been on and off number one,
Yeah.
sharing a little bit with Sean occasionally.
So the last I heard was Fox has already lost over $1 billion.
Well, you know what people are not thinking about? The first thing they did is cancel their subscriptions to Fox,
That's what they're
Fox
doing.
Nation.
Yep, they're
You
can-
just goodbye.
They're canceling that. You keep slamming the table. Here, take your little clamshell there. Yours, see? Greta's happy with me now.
You got the nasty look. I didn't. You hit the
You're-
clamshell.
Look at the look on her face. You're in trouble.
Whips and chains excite me. Go
Oh,
for it.
Jesus, here we go.
So much for staying on air.
You know, I have a thought that this is part of the Dominion case. I think so. The word is that this came down from Rupert Murdoch himself.
That's
I'm
the
not sure I
rumor.
believe that because the sons are in control, I believe,
And the wife.
and the wife, and the
one of the
sons
sons.
lean. Let's just say
Lean
not
left.
the same way.
That's like being almost pregnant, leaning left.
But you know, there's talk out there that this was part of the Dominion settlement. Could it be? Absolutely, because Bongino's gone too.
Yeah, but except Bongino explained everything this week.
Right. Well,
What-
Tucker will be explaining things.
Yeah, but in Bongino's case, they wanted to take over the rights to his podcast
Right.
as part of the contract negotiations. And he basically said not only hell,
No.
but hell no.
Because he's making a crap load of money on it.
And that's what he said.
Yeah.
And so they just couldn't work an agreement.
Yeah.
But right now, Tucker's in negotiations with them to buy out his contract. So he's not going to be poor.
Oh God, no. He's going to sit back for a couple of weeks. Yeah, remember, the longer this goes on, the more his star rises right now.
But critical and everything, if you haven't seen the video, you need to.
Oh, the one
The
last night.
last 3 words of the whole thing. See you soon.
Yep.
Those are the last 3 words the man said. And you know something? He's got something up his sleeve, and something's going to happen quickly.
And there are rumors out there that he's going to become the head of OAN. I don't know if it's true or not. I've heard it.
If I were Eric Bowling, I'd be very nervous. His 8 o'clock show on Newsmax is probably up
Newsmax
for
is
grabs.
another one that's out there. I think Newsmax has made an overture to Tucker.
You know, but I do still have one thought about what might have happened to him. And I go back to when he had the 41,000 hours of show, and he only put out 2 segments that maybe totaled a half an hour. I'm wondering if either he was told he couldn't run anymore creatively, or he was told this is what we want you to run, and he said I ain't doing it. Anyway, I really think that Fox has doomed themselves. You know, everybody's been
they've cut their
predicting.
throat.
They're predicting Fox has been dying for about 20 years, and they've always survived. But this one may be deadlier.
Like you mentioned Hannity. Without that lead in, it's gonna hit Hannity. I mean, yes, he's been around for 30 years now, give or take. It's still gonna affect him.
I agree.
Ingram's show after that is gonna be affected. Do I think it'll be a large amount? No, but it's gonna be
You
affected.
see, now one of the things I also go back about the Dominion case, the other 2 are hammering it also, and nothing's happened to them.
I wonder if they picked the sacrificial lamb. Now, why they would choose Tucker
Well,
instead of, and I like Ingram. Don't
I
get
was
me
reading
wrong,
some
but-
military stuff the other day, and I think if that's the case, I think the tipping point might have been he's been going after the military wokeness heavy-handed for about.
I heard that somebody threw out is maybe this is going to lead him to run into politics.
Yeah, I just don't think he's going there.
I think he'd be a fool to do it.
Well, I don't see anybody he'd link up to because he was not a friend of Trump.
No, he's not going to run for president either.
No,
I don't
but
think.
but you got to
Senate or
understand that'd be
something
the
like that.
party he's heading to.
Yeah, where else?
So he's
is
not
he
going to
go?
walk into a party that's going to open arms if he's been beating up on Trump.
You know, he is going to come out ahead. This is going to be
He will land on both feet.
the best thing that ever happened to him.
And you know what I'm going to be laughing at is all these leftists who have been dancing and singing for
The
last.
View, you mean?
Every one of them. They've all been dancing and singing for the last 48 hours. It's over. You know, AOC. She pulled it off. Blah 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 blah. You know what? He's going to land on his feet, and they're going to have so much egg on their face. They're going to
not
think
gonna
they're
know
old
what to
McDonald's
do
farm.
next. And whether it's, let's say, Newsmax, OAN, any of them, maybe he goes and does a podcast.
He could make a fortune.
By the way, if you do, I'm willing to come on as a guest, but you don't want the old man.
I mean, he's a member of the Whig Party. That's how old he is. So just leave him alone there.
And you're older than me, so that would make you the Roman Senate, maybe.
Only in statute.
But
Statute.
you think about, let's look at Rogan. Rogan gets 14, 15 million. He's making 100, viewers per podcast. He's making $100 million a year. Tucker beats those numbers
Without trying hard.
without even trying.
Bongino approached that this week. He's been talking about the fact if he went into podcasting, he would.
It'd be
within
over.
the first week, he'd be number 1 or 2 in the country.
Well, you look. We talk about Tulsi. Tulsi went to top 10 literally the day she started hers.
That's true.
She's, as far as name recognition, she's got nothing on Tucker. No offense to her, but Tucker goes to number 1 instantly and makes a boatload of money and has nothing to hold him back.
Of which he could invest in Reclaiming America.
He could.
Just bring us right up the top.
He could sponsor us.
Yeah.
But then on top of it, also, if he's got his own podcast, he answers to no one. It's his show.
You know what was interesting? Mangino was talking about doing a major podcast the other day, and he was giving numbers. He said, now to do a podcast that gets the millions of viewers, it costs you about $100,000 a year to do that versus if you're doing a TV show.
Oh, TV show's way more expensive.
That's an episode.
I would think it's a little bit higher than that number, but let's use it. I'm not going to quibble on that.
Well, you got to hire a videographer, a first-class videographer.
Well, so that level, they set it up like a TV station. Right? Let's use Rogan. He's got multiple cameras. He's got people operating all that. It's a whole staff behind it. I don't know if 100,000 is right because you got to have, like I said, videographer. You got to have your producer. You got to have the editors behind it, the people that load it up. I would probably, and I'm guessing 200 to 300 minimum. But again, chump change. That's one show on TV.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. So
that could also be just the star's payroll.
And like I said, the reins are off then. Because you don't have to worry about Rupert Murdoch calling you up and going, dude, you shouldn't be doing that. Imagine what he could do. He'd have nothing to fear. He'd have nothing to stop him.
Nope.
That's what I hope he does. Because if anyone could really make an effect, it would be him.
Well, and as you think about it, podcasts are to cable, which was to regular television, if you want to put it in it.
Mm-hmm. Podcasts are it now.
Yeah, cable kind of buried regular TV. Podcasts will eventually take cable down to the point where regular TV is today.
They already have.
Yeah, so
we're past that point. We're past the tipping point. You look at, like I said, Rogan gets 14, 15 million viewers per. Somebody like Tim Pool gets 1 million per. CNN's drawing 400,000.
We already discussed they have more people working there than they do for viewers.
Right.
So that doesn't work.
The podcasts or online media, if you prefer that, or alternative media, it's called, that's not the future. It's now, and it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, and the question is, what's going to be the next level beyond that? Because that's 5 years from now.
That's be the chips implanted in our brain, so Tucker can talk to us all day long.
Well, I have several choices here, but I'm going to be good on that one and just leave it alone.
So let's shift just a hair. Mr. Lemon, or Lemon, or whatever you want to call him, Sourpuss, how's that? Our producer's over here cracking up. I don't know if you heard, he got let go.
He was very upset, too, because
that tweet was beautiful.
They didn't even have the guts to face me. They just called my agent and said, don't show up.
Which is how it's normally done anyway. That's what made me laugh so hard is like, dude, that's exactly how they do it.
Well, I think the biggest issue was the agent wasn't watching the show. They had missed a drop in numbers. So
now, we don't really know what happened with Tucker. We know what happened with, I'm going to call him Lemon because I don't know. It's easier to say than Lemon. He's a misogynist.
And he managed to tick off the 2 co-hosts he had, but they were women with him in the show he started.
Reports from multiple places are that he's rude to everybody. He's just basically an ass, a prima donna. Ratings.
Oh, yeah. He invented the term toilet
I mean, come on.
because everything he does is in the toilet.
I mean, their morning show was doing good, and then they shifted him over to it, and they went right in the toilet. His firing was justified, and I'm
And
not
overdue.
even way overdue, and I'm not even getting into all the lies he told. Forget all the political side of it. Just based on those things alone was why he got terminated. But yet, you know, they're out cheering Tucker getting terminated, but they don't say anything. Where's all the women's groups?
Well, that's another whole issue. Because you got another 2 hours. We'll do the women's group, and now they're ignoring
Why
everything
isn't
going
the
on.
View cheering? Hey, we got rid of this misogynist. I wonder why they're not doing that. Now, by the way, we need to get rid of the View also.
Oh, I agree.
They are
Overdue. There's another group that needs to just go away.
But you know, you think he's going to land on his feet, Lemon?
Well,
Sourpuss?
no, because his
Let's
head
just
will
call
end up
him
in the
Sourpuss.
toilet where it belongs.
I think he's finished. He's going to end up somewhere, but
He'll be doing traffic.
he might do a podcast himself.
He'll be doing traffic stories. He'll take over the Duckman job down here on WILM. And he'll be doing. This is Lemon telling you that we have a lemon problem over here.
But interesting, the juxtaposition of these two happening basically within a couple of hours of each other.
And
It makes you wonder. Let's put some conspiracy theories out there.
well, first of all, we have a shortage of conspiracy theories because they've all been proven
Every
true.
one of them has been proven
So
true.
we really have that shortage going on now. We
Yeah.
need a new conspiracy.
I'm wondering, is someone behind the scenes pulling some strings? And, you know, it could be.
Well, you know,
Speculation.
firing him under the Tucker issue almost is like it's cover because no one's paying attention to it. You know, you think about what
good point.
what the government comes up with. Friday evening is the best thing to release every document you
Yep.
can get out there that no one pays attention to because it's a low time you get to Monday, it's forgotten.
Right.
The time to pull the
yeah.
trigger is different.
Yeah. It was just, I forget who I said it. Like they were talking about Tucker getting fired on the air, and then it kind of came in while they were talking that Lemon had gotten fired, like within 20 minutes.
Yeah, but it was a 5-second piece of a 2-hour report.
And it was.
She'd be good.
She'd be very good, and she would fit their narrative because she's more centrist. She's on Fox all the time.
And actually, that's not a bad decision for them.
She checks some boxes, right? Woman, multiracial, ex-congresswoman,
Military.
I mean, she check. How she didn't become the Democratic nominee, who knows?
And as you said, center right.
Center, well, I don't know if I get her center right yet. She's getting there, though.
Yeah, she's leaning
She
right.
was far left 10 years ago. She's like moving. It's still a work in progress.
It's that old story that they used to say coming out of college, if you're not a liberal, you have no heart. And by 40, if you're not a conservative, you got no brain. So she's going
She's
through the
moving there,
operation.
but she's also got the name recognition because that's what they're looking for. That's why I threw her out there.
And that's an excellent point.
I can't think of anyone else. The other one I would have thrown out is Bongino.
No,
But
they've
that's
already.
obviously
That's not
going to
happen.
I mean, who else is there?
Mark Levin,
Come on, in that slot? No way.
except he's got a 6 to 9 show now.
Even if they bumped him up to that, no way.
He might fill the job,
He might take it temporarily, but that's
but
not.
he can't. He's got the 6 to 9
Yeah.
show now.
I don't
and
see
they're not
that
going to change
happening.
that slot.
I honestly can't think of anyone that has enough star power because for them to, you got to step back and look at it from their perspective. They took out their basically number one star. They have to get someone that's, I'm not going to say comparable because that's not going to happen, but at least can approach it. And you get some no-name nobody.
It needs somebody with some credibility to go into the slot.
That's the other thing.
You know, and you're not going to get. You're right. You're not going to get a Tucker, but I'm pretty sure that's going to have to be an outsider.
They've proven that they might do something like that.
Well, if you got your people in charge are left leaning, and
Or
they
Cuomo.
are. Cuomo, though, there's a thought.
Fredo, not Andy.
Yeah, I know. Cuomo or a
He's hanging out
Cuomo, a Cuomo Lemon.
No, they're not going to bring that back. Oh, God.
The two of them together, side by side.
Well, I keep thinking. I used to watch the two of them because they're their shows were back to back, and they would interact. I used to watch it just because you could see they were lying through their teeth through the whole, and they knew they were.
And they didn't like each other to begin with.
Oh, they hated each other. It was so obvious. But I've got COVID, blah blah blah. And oh, that's terrible. Meanwhile, he's out, visiting friends and all that.
Send him a bag of COVID.
But I honestly don't know. The closest I could come up with is Tulsi, and I like her, but I don't think she could even come close.
And by the way, before we go any further, we should tell people to watch everything before we forget.
Go ahead.
You need to tune into us on Facebook. You need to tune into us on Spotify. You need to find us on YouTube.
We got to tell. We're on Spotify now, so we're on Spotify, YouTube. We do have Facebook.
Right.
We're going to be on Twitter
Shortly.
We're on Apple.
Right.
Apple Podcasts.
Even though we're trying to make lemonade out of it, but we're going with an apple on that.
So we are growing. So jump onto whatever platform you prefer, or better yet, all of them.
And check every time you do it.
Make sure you like every time you watch. Anything more on this segment? Because
I really think we've kind of
my well's kind of run dry on this one.
Yeah,
I have to be honest.
I'm trying to think. I keep up with Sergio, and that's not the guy. It's time
Sergio.
Yeah, I know. It's time to say goodbye, folks. We'll be back in the next segment.
It's me again, Sergio.
With you, but I hope you enjoyed Reclaiming America, because Sergio is just surging in the polls.
Whoever Sergio is,
he's surging in the polls.
And make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
And remember, this is Reclaiming America with Bill and
Dan and
Henry,
the King,
the real star of the show.
Okay. See you next time.
See you soon.